welcome back to Wonder Woman Says. This week we got some different titles to review. I know we've been reviewing a lot of Batman stuff and a lot of Superman related stuff and things along that nature. Well, we're going to switch it up tonight. Because I got one we haven't reviewed at all on this show.
Well, how can we review something that's new if it doesn't exist yet?
Oh, it's existed for at least a month. It's on second issue right now. And yeah, I know recently Marvel has put out a new series called Captain Carter. Pretty much Peggy Carter. It's kind of like what if Peggy Carter became Captain America. She pretty much has the same storyline as Captain America. It's pretty interesting because this is what compelled me to pick it up. I never thought I'd see a premise like that. Must admit, this is a cool cover too.
Yeah, so basically she's Captain Britain.
Yeah. Yeah, they even kind of make that obvious on the shield too.
Which is funny because the actual Captain Britain is not in any way dressed like Captain America. He's got like a lion.
Yeah, because also I know her outfit is pretty much 100% for Britain all the way.
Well, lions are British.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, before we even get into it, I must say this look really interesting too. I might have to check this out right here.
Oh yeah, I had heard he has a sidekick now.
Yeah. Well, I know they start the story. I see all these headlines about Captain Carter being alive and all this kind of stuff. Well, get a brief intro. Captain Carter's backstory right here. I'm glad Marvel's doing this again. Really catches the readers up to speed because I know things be moving at a frantic pace in today's comic world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the story begins. The Prime Minister is talking about the threat of Hydra. He's talking about passing this anti-terrorism law, and there's a lot of concerns that this law might intrude upon people's private lives, but he goes on and keeps saying he's going to make sure that doesn't happen. Of course, we all know differently.
And when the Brits are concerned about privacy, you know it's bad.
Yeah, but then we cut immediately. Hydra is pretty much making a terrorist attack on a local mall in Britain. Of course, Captain Carter is there trying to seal off the threat, trying to take out the terrorists, which she does with the help of her sidekick. After the threats are vanquished, they decide to pretty much go for a drink and get some rest. Meanwhile, they're back in their office. They're trying to trace Hydra, trying to figure out what else they're gonna do. Of course, they receive word that there's gonna be an arms shipment later that night. Of course, that means they're about to gear up for some more action. So this is later that night. They're pretty much waiting for everything to get started. But as soon as the deal starts getting good, so to speak, Captain Carter comes out with their team. They pretty much fight the bad guys off, and needless to say, they beat them. I will say the artwork is pretty good in this comic book.
I love the color palette.
Yeah, it does look nice.
Is the guy in the orange pants supposed to look like Lex Luthor, or is that just coincidence?
I wouldn't. Maybe that's just a coincidence, because I'm pretty sure his character's probably absolutely nothing like him. I just got the same looking face, no coincidentally. But pretty much comes to find out, they find a whole truck full of refugees. Of course, they end up getting turned over to the government. Of course, I would want to go further, but I'm not gonna spoil this though. I will say something profound is coming up, but if I were to go any further, it kind of it would take away some of the mystery of this book right here because I don't like spoiling new comic books.
Okay, so out of 10, what would you give it?
Well, on one hand, I do like the premise. It is very interesting. Pretty much, what if Peggy Carter came over to the modern world like Steve Rogers did? She ended up becoming a Captain America like hero herself. For that, I love that. But I don't know, the story just like it's not the worst thing I ever read. But at $4 though, I don't know if I'd be in a rush to buy another issue with this.
Yeah, I gotta say, it didn't really grab me just hearing you describe it.
Well, I know how I kind of have a way of describing things. Maybe if you actually read this, you probably might. Maybe you might like it. Like I think it was good. I just don't. I don't think it was earth shattering or nothing like that. I can't see myself going back to read it again either. I guess I probably a 6.5.
Hmm.
It
That
ain't the
that might be a record for this show so far.
yeah, because this is one of them things that seem like it's an average book to me. Like it ain't the worst thing, but I just think it's better things out there to read too at the same time. Maybe I would say maybe somebody who was really into Peggy Carter's character might get something out of this book right here. But I just think it's just one of those come and go type of deals.
All right, well, let's get to the good stuff. You know what I'm looking forward to?
Yeah, I know. Well, we're about to talk about your favorite character next.
Yeah, character I named myself after, I might
Yeah,
add.
yeah. Well, it's our first She-Hulk review right here. Sensational She-Hulk #3, back from 1989. This is this week's blast from the past. I think this cover's pretty funny too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, although this is a She-Hulk book, we end up seeing Spider-Man first. His spidey sense is tingling non-stop, which means there's a major alert somewhere in the city. Yeah, just forgive me for a minute. Sometimes the page is getting stuck.
Take your time. I'm hourly.
Well, Spider-Man pretty much goes through the sky looking for the threat, and he ends up confronting none other than Mysterio. He starts putting two and two together. He starts to realize something in his briefcase is making his spidey sense go off like crazy. He wants to get to the bottom of it because it's pretty much starting to hurt him now, starting to get on his nerves too.
So clearly it's a suitcase full of NFTs.
Well, I don't know, in 1989, I don't know about that.
Ooh, dead ass.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while that was taking place, the headmen are operating on what appears to be the body of She-Hulk. I'll admit I didn't read the last issue, so I don't really have the context of how she initially got there, but all I know is that's where they got her now.
I have read the previous issue. I just don't remember what happened.
Oh, yeah, I need to catch up on it. Of course, we get an intermission by none other than She-Hulk herself. This is where we start seeing some of the trademark humor that quickly became a part of this particular She-Hulk series. He starts giving the insight to what's been going on and what can be expected to be seen.
And she gets a pie in the face.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah, she gets the Anita Bryant special.
Yeah. But then back to the story at hand, Spider-Man and Mysterio pretty much look like they're going to get into another battle, but then it turns out what was in the briefcase is a bunch of fake money, basically. Mysterio is pretty much dumbfounded because he thought it was for real. It turns out the headmen betrayed him, so to speak. They were just trying to get him to jar out Spider-Man.
Ah.
And of course, you see the headmen in their laboratory conducting all these weird experiments. And as we're about to see Spider-Man come in, start attempting to put a thought to their plans.
Wait. What is her head doing right here?
There's a lot of wild stuff going on in this issue. Apparently, this is somebody Spider-Man did battle with before, and Spider-Man assumed she was dead, but lo and behold, here she is. Oh, I guess you could say alive and well.
Yeah, that's one thing I always kind of really loved about Sensational She-Hulk is that it kept all of Marvel's really lame villains, but made them interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this book. Then, of course, they get into a brief battle with Spider-Man. Then we see She-Hulk head pretty much right here. And it's like the evil doctor pretty much standing by as the whole thing takes place.
Look at his neck.
Yeah.
I think he takes people's heads just so he can add more necks to his neck.
Yeah, this is a weird assortment of characters right here.
Yo, dog, I heard you like necks, so I put a neck on your neck.
And of course, She-Hulk is pretty much there trying to make sense of what's going on. But then Spider-Man tries to rescue her. And then pretty much Spider-Man starts battling all these, I guess you could say, mutations, so to speak. Honestly, the way this story's going, I'm surprised this wasn't just putting a Spider-Man issue. Because, you see more of him than more of She-Hulk.
Well, you know how in the 90s pretty much every other issue of someone's comic was basically all about Wolverine?
Yeah.
Well, in the 80s, it was like that with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Then we see this little side scene right here. Turns out this woman is breaking the fourth wall, start talking about things that's supposed to be happening in the next issue, so to speak. The man don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, she was actually a character from the 1940s who was a superhero back then, and she became She-Hulk's secretary because she felt that she had aged enough in between her last appearances. Because comic characters only age between times when you see them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember who she was just off the top of my head, but yeah, that's what her whole deal is.
Well, then I know because the next issue after this is actually about that. So, and of course, back to what's going on. Spider-Man's in the lab trying to take down all these strange characters while the She-Hulk pretty much hangs in the balance. But then, of course, you're about to see something crazy. Turns out, Doctor put somebody on She-Hulk's body. The man is pretty mad about it, too, because he don't like the fact he's having a woman's body. But then, he pretty much sees Spider-Man. Sees Spider-Man. He wants Spider-Man's body, but then that doesn't end up happening. I will say this is it's an action-packed story, but it's like one of them funny ones too. Then Spider-Man pretty much ends up he's kind of put in a situation he can't. It's like if he does anything to She-Hulk's body, She-Hulk's gonna die, so he kind of trying to figure out what to do. But then they somehow end up freeing She-Hulk's, her real body. It turned out her real body was kind of stuck somewhere. So then Spider-Man and She-Hulk pretty much proceed to finish off this wacky crew, so to speak. Of course, She-Hulk ends up destroying the tape with these two. And Spider-Man and She-Hulk lay waste to the remaining villains right here.
Yeah. That's how my girl do.
And then after She-Hulk does one more, I guess you could say, drastic move, so to speak, and Spider-Man and She-Hulk pretty much apprehend all the head men, and they pretty much go their separate ways. And
Now, the male column in this book is called, wait, back up. It's called She-Male. But we're going to allow that because She-Hulk is awesome.
yeah. Also, this is what you were talking about. This has a sneak preview of the next issue's cover.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Blonde Phantom.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, when I first sat down to read this book, I was kind of shocked at how little She-Hulk was truly involved in the story. Because at times I read like something should have been an Amazing Spider-Man with She-Hulk as the guest star.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I'm glad it got made. It is a funny story with a lot of wacky villains.
I hope when the She-Hulk show comes out, it's as comedic as Sensational was, because Sensational was brilliant, really.
Yeah, because I'm probably going to commit some sacrilege here. Like, I didn't really like Savage She-Hulk that much.
Yeah, it was kind of,
Yeah, because like, I don't know what it is. Like, She-Hulk just don't feel right when they try to play her super serious like her cousin. Like, she's at her best when she's kind of campy and being silly.
All right, so out of 5.
I'd probably give it a 4.5. It's just a fun read and got a lot of general wackiness that keeps you reading from page to page. Really feels something like something out of a 60s Batman comic book.
All right, so what can we look forward to next week?
Well, this coming week, I'm going to be reviewing this new comic coming out called Cancel. This is in its first issue. It's an indie book. We're going to decide what the next blast from the past will be, but we're going to be back soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this show and recommend you to hit like and subscribe if you like what you see, so we can keep in touch and so you can know when we coming back. Because we definitely love to have you as a subscriber. We would appreciate it too.
And you've got something going on next week, don't you?
Actually, this Saturday I was going to do the Monument 10K. I can't wait. Seems really exciting. It's going to be a long lap around the block, but I'm up for it. I already did 2 5Ks, so I ain't sweating it.
Yeah, plus now there's only the one monument on Monument Avenue now, so.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. If you're in the Richmond area, come see us. My brother and his wife are going to be there. They're not famous, but that's just a neat bit of trivia. And anything else you want to talk about?
Oh no, I'm just going to say we about to close out for this week, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next episode.
Right on.
Yeah.